Hi everybody, welcome to my Flosstube. My name is Amy. I go by Fiber Arts Amy here and on Instagram. And I'm coming to you today here with a regular Flosstube. I do have a little retreat business to talk about and a little bit of Oak Crown Studios to talk about, but I'm gonna try to remember to do that at the end instead of here at the beginning in case you're just not here for that. For those of you who don't know, I do help host two retreats a year in Charlotte, North Carolina with Maggie, who goes by Kitschy Whips. And I also do most of it for Oak Crown Studios, which is my hand-dyed fabric company. But I'll try to save all those updates to the end. So I have a bunch of projects to show you today. I wish I'd gotten back here a lot sooner. Summer is always a little hard for me just because I'm busy doing a lot of other things. Kids are home. I've been really busy with work, work being Oak Crown Studios. I don't have a separate job. That's it. That's what I do. And certain things like my Teresa Wensler, Princess and the Dragon, it just didn't get worked on all summer. I think I talked about that last time, that I was just not going to worry about it. I find most of a Teresa Wensler very hard to do when my kids are home. When she has like very geometric elements, like in a border and whatnot, I can do that with a lot of activity and things going on just fine. But I'm almost done with Princess and the Dragon. There's like almost nothing left to do. I should have brought it to show you, but I've been showing it now for years on my Flosstube. So if you're interested, you could just go back and you'll see it. Anyway, I'm hoping to finish that here in the next couple of weeks. I did finish Garden Beauty from Mirabilia. I'll show it on my next Flosstube because I already dropped it off at the framer. Life is just chaos, and I don't always have the ability to plan around Flosstubes to do things. I had to go pick some things up at the framer yesterday, so I went ahead and dropped her off. I need to get her framed, or want to get her framed in time for the Mirabilia retreat that we're hosting here in October. So with all of that babbling over, I will go ahead and jump in. I should say, so I finished Garden Beauty. I started a ton of stuff since my last Flosstube. I haven't put a lot of stitches in on anything, because the project that got most of my stitches was Garden Beauty. Usually when I finish a big project, afterwards I kind of feel like I don't know what to do. And I tend to jump around a lot. I have a hard time like settling to any one project. Jump around a lot, even more than usual for me. I was putting stitches in sometimes in 3 or 4, have been putting stitches on 3 or 4 projects a day sometimes, and not that many stitches. I just kind of pick something up and I'm like, I don't know. I stitch on a little bit and I pick something else up, and it's fine. I'm just going with it. It's apparently the mode I'm in now. It'll pass. And again, Monday when my kids are already back in school, but the last couple weeks have been super busy. This coming Monday, today's Friday, I should say September 5th, I think, 2025. Anyway, this coming Monday, I'm hoping to get back to Princess and the Dragon on. Okay, so I'll jump in. I don't even know how many new starts are in here. It's mostly new starts or putting some more stitches in on a project that was barely started before. So this might even be the first thing I started after my finishing Garden Beauty. This is, what's it called? Oh, I have my glasses. I can't see without my glasses anymore. Flower Fairy Silhouette from Lenarta. I don't know how you pronounce it. I think this was the one that I started right after Garden Beauty because I think it's beautiful. I love it. It's so soft and romantic, but also really simple. It's quite big. I think it's finished size is about 9 by 11 inches. So it's pretty big, but this is just it's not black. It's, I think 30-31, something like that. It's like a really dark brown. And then all of these roses in the background, I think they're roses, are just half stitches. So it's a really simple, easy project. So I worked on this one day, and I actually feel like I got a lot done for one day. This is, sorry, this is where I am, and this up here is the top. That's the top of the piece, and this is the tip of her top wing. And I was kind of moving around a little bit, but I'm trying to do the silhouette part basically from the top down, and kind of going back and forth between doing a strand of the 3031 and a strand of the color. So, or the, you know, not brown color. So the silhouette part is all, this is on Aida. I think it's an 18 count Aida. It might be 20 count. I feel like I looked and I wasn't sure it said. Oh, it does say 18 count Aida. So it's 2/1, or 2/, you know, over 1 block of Aida for the silhouette. So that's like really thick and great coverage because it's like a 36 linen. And then this is 1 strand half stitch is all of that background. And then there's a lot of fabric showing through. So it's, it was just really, it's really relaxing. I think this might actually come out a lot. It's, for me, it's the sort of project that, sorry about the noise, that it's great to pick up when I kind of don't have a lot of energy to stitch, or I don't have like a lot of focus, and I don't feel like diving into something that takes more energy. Like, it's just a really simple stitch, but it's gonna be beautiful. And I like Lenart kits. They're just fun. Sorry, I never unpack things from my bag, so there are gonna be zippers and some crinkling. This other thing I picked up had technically been started, and even done a few strands. Oop. It's getting tangled. I'd even done a few strands of floss. It still doesn't look like much, but it particularly didn't look like much because I had just done several rows of black up here. This is, is it on black or navy blue? It's on navy blue. It's on navy blue fabric. Sorry about the glare. I'm doing my best. This is Santa's Midnight Ride. This dimensions kit is still readily available. I'm kind of on a kit, particularly a dimensions kit, but also just a kit kick right now. If you watched my kit parade a few videos ago, probably, you know I have a lot of kits. And I've just been in this whole, like, kind of, not a funk that I'm in exactly, but like, I don't know what I want to stitch, and I don't know what I want to pick up. I've just been reaching for a lot of kits and being like, well, let's work on that or get that started. And some of you know I really wanted this year to be, to focus more on my kits, which to some extent I have. Well, I've definitely been focusing on them more. Not as much as I hoped, but they definitely are getting more love. So anyway, this one's readily available at a totally normal price. I think it's still currently in print. And I don't have a ton done. Still don't have a ton done, but I made progress. I think I doubled the number of stitches I have in. This is just the top right corner. Nope, top left corner. And this is just the very start of like the toys and stuff in his sleigh. So not a lot, but a slightly more respectable start. Stitching with the black is definitely, like with the black floss, is not easy. This isn't a Whip It Up project bag. It has more of a like Halloween vibe, but still, it works. I actually try not to buy a lot of holiday themed project bags because then I feel hampered by what project I can put in them. And I keep finding that like I have a project that I've started and I need a bag to put it in, and then like all I have are holiday bags, but it's not, it's like a spring project and I've got a Christmas bag. So anyway, you see the best way to do this. Just got a lot of stuff piled up. And I had to bring a bunch of stuff downstairs from my upstairs stitchy spot. Okay, this next one, I don't want to show the pattern. The image is on the back of the pattern. So I was inspired to stitch this by Sarah Lady Lugana. She has this as a whip, and hers is, I don't know if it's almost done, but it's like mostly done. Did I say I don't know if it's mostly done, but it's mostly done? It's getting there. I feel like much of the flower situation is done. In some of this, I think she's got a bunch of this left to go. So I had admired this whip of hers for quite some time, and hers has been getting some love. She sent it to some friends. They did like a round robin where they helped each other out, making progress on some whips, and this was one that that people worked on for her or with her. It's a bigger picture in the back. I guess I should tell you what it's called. It's from Designworks, and I really like Designworks kits. So does Kelly Pages and Stitches. She does a lot of them. I have another one to show you here later too. This one's called Symphony Bouquet. This is, I'm even noticing details on the image that I hadn't noticed before. If you want to hear more, I'm going to direct you to Sarah Lady Lugana's Flosstube. I'll link her below. She has mentioned, I think actually has gotten this kit twice, and I think the materials are different from one kit to the other. She definitely had some things to say about that. My kit so far, as I can tell, is fine. The Aida is really thick and kind of stiff. It's pretty. It's like an oatmeal Aida. But I actually decided I wanted to really brighten all of this. I wanted to make it just a much brighter piece. So I am using a hand-dyed fabric. The fabric's from Country Stitch. I'll link them below. I haven't looked into them in a while. I haven't placed an order in quite some time. But they're out of New Zealand, and this fabric color is called Meltwater. I love Country Stitch's fabrics. You do have to import them from New Zealand right now, which is pretty tricky, but you certainly can. And they're beautiful, absolutely beautiful fabrics. So this isn't much of a start. This is very much near the center. That's some part of one flower and part of another flower. This is a Clay by Kim. I don't know how much she does them now. For months before I ever got a Clay by Kim dragon, I was able to get Clay by Kim flowers. So I actually have quite a big collection of her flower needle minders. Anyway, so not much of a start. I did this last night, actually. The fabric just makes me cheerful and happy, and I think it's going to give a very different vibe. As charted, like on that oatmeal Aida fabric, it's beautiful, but a much more like subdued vibe, and this I think is just going to be much like brighter and stand out more, which isn't necessarily a good thing, but it's what I'm going for. So I'm happy with this. This is in a bag from Kathy's Posies. I will try to remember to link her below. She's got an Etsy shop. She's one of my favorite bag sellers. I mean, isn't this like the perfect bag for this kit with those flowers? Kathy's Posies, her bags, they're all one-of-a-kinds. Sorry for the little bang. And she does a bunch of different styles. This one has a little snap clasp. Most of them that I have from her, and I think most of them that she does, have a zipper. She often uses these embroideries that I assume she finds at like antique shops and stuff. She often incorporates them into the bags. It's got a pretty fabric inside too. They're just really well made. They're very inexpensive. They're not all the same. Like, they're just different styles. She does different things depending on like what she's going to incorporate into there. And she has like different fabric options. I really like her stuff. Okay, the next one, this is another one that I pulled out. It had already been started, but kind of barely. And I've been thinking about for a while. I needed more love. This is MD10 from Mirabilia. Yeah, 10. It's Elizabeth in the Lavender Sky. I almost never see anyone stitching this one, although a group of us did start it together here, I think a couple of years ago. But I kind of started it and then it didn't really get any more attention. And I should put the needle on the needle minder. I didn't have a needle minder on this, and last night I finally grabbed needle minders for some of my projects I hadn't got one for. So this is not very far at all. I've just done so far half stitches across. I'll have to move the Q-snap to finish that over there for part of the top border. Make sure my needle's safe. It is. And I've just been, some of this is just really hard to see too, because the colors are very, very light. One of the colors practically matches the background fabric. I think I'm using, so I had a kit for this. Mirabilia used to put out kits for some of their, well, it might have been all of them, but definitely for some of their designs. And I have several of those. The chart is just like a normal chart, but it was in like packaged as a kit. And I think this is just the kit fabric. The fabric does show through in places. So it's one of those where like the color's pretty important, like it's part of the color's part of the shading. So, not that you can't change the color of the fabric, it's just going to definitely have maybe a bigger impact on how the design looks. So still not a lot of progress, but I'm going to keep it in the Q-snap for now and see if I can get a little more work on that. This might be a really short floss tube, but a lot of the time I look up at the timer around now and I'm like, I'm flying, this is going to be short. And then like an hour and a half later, I'm like, oh, apparently I'm still talking. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, I'm sorry I do not have a cover photo for this one, but I did start and this isn't gonna look that interesting. I did start another chatelaine. This is blue Moroccan lace. Wait, which way does it go? Hold on, I'm thinking. It goes this way. Not that it really matters. And I do have an arrow drawn somewhere. Oh yeah, right there. So it goes this way. I bought this pattern after the at the chatelaine retreat that we held this July. And it's been calling to me, but I never quite get to the point of starting it. It's like all the perfect colors. I love those blues so much. And I'm just using white linen. I think it might be 32, but I think it's 28. I put my glasses on, I can tell. It's 32. I'm using 32 count linen. So it's barely a start. But what I did, I heard from another floss tuber, and I'm sorry, I don't remember which one, that you could get Mrs. Sada's silk. So this is somebody, I think, are they in Spain? Who dyes, sorry if I have that wrong, who dyes silks. They're lovely. And she does a floss conversion pack. Now there's still some things you need to get yourself. I need to order some petite treasure braid in particular. So it's not all the fibers that you need for the piece, but I think it's most of them. And they are stunning. I just love, I mean, look at this. So you can get it from her, she has an Etsy shop. I'll try to remember to link this below. I didn't actually compare prices, but I think this was a lot cheaper than getting like the Glorianas and stuff. Look at this one's variegated. It's so lovely. So, so pretty. I'm distracted by my own silk for this. It's just so, so good. So yeah, anyway, I decided I love trying new fibers, and I have some Mrs. Sada silk for, I think I have some for something else, but I haven't started to use it yet. I just was in the mood to jump in and get this started. And I have the bead pack from European Cross Stitch for blue Moroccan lace. It's just so good. And again, I just felt like the blue was really going to pop the best off of the plain white. So that's why I stuck with that. I'm actually more organized today than I usually am for these things. Oh, let me talk. Oh, I didn't bring a picture of it. I meant to bring a picture. So Teresa Wensler has a small called Medieval Miniature. Although actually on one page of the pattern it's called Medieval Miniature, on another page of the pattern it's called Camelot Miniature. So I don't know, it might be known by both out there. Now I got this from, I'm gonna mess this up, I'll try to link it below though. I think I talked about this before, that so Patterns Online has like their own file format that files come in, and Teresa Wensler still has a lot of her patterns up on Patterns Online. There's another company, and I don't want to guess because I don't want to get it wrong, that I guess is like owned by the same people as Patterns Online, if I understand correctly. And on that website, you can just get PDFs of the Teresa Wenslers, which is much easier. You have to have like a PC compatible computer to read the Patterns Online files, which I don't have, and it's just it's clunky. Anyway, so I downloaded this, and again, I will look for it and make sure I link this below. So this is a tiny design. Sorry, I don't know the picture, but I will describe it to you. So it ends up only being like 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches or something. I think this is probably on 32 count linen. This was actually a scrap of linen that came in our bags at the Chatelaine retreat. European Cross Stitch very kindly sent everybody a little special pack of some fun stuff, and in that was some like scraps of linen to practice specialty stitches and whatnot. So I just, they're sitting right next to me. So I just grabbed one of these the other day when I decided to start this. So this is just, though I have to finish the border, which just goes down and over. Like that's the size of the piece. It's tiny. The border is over too with a lot of fractionals, but then, and there's some specialty stitches that go up here in the corners. And then inside is the scene of a knight riding his horse with a castle in the background, and all of the rest of it is stitched over one. So I'm getting my over two border in first, and then I'll start the over one stitching. And some of you know I like to do a pincushion for our retreats that Maggie and I put on. We need somebody to put pins in. So people have pins that, like, we use pins to pin like the labels to our brag table stuff. So I don't have a Teresa Wensler pin cushion yet. So I'm making one. So I'll explain more later. But our fall 2026 retreat is going to be Teresa Wensler themed. So anyway, that this has been on my mind for a long time. So I'm glad to have gotten it started. Over one stitching, of course, takes longer. I'm not sure exactly how long it'll take, but it's still really small. Like this is a really small design, so it shouldn't be too bad. Here, I'll show this next. I'm sorry, I don't have the cover photo for this one either. I just have my working copy of the pattern, but you'll get the gist from what I have done here. So, the sort of ongoing, stitch along that Maggie and I have for the Charlotte retreat is Charlotte from Mirabilia. So I had started her when we like announced this several years ago. First announced the retreat, and then I got busy planning retreat and I barely got anything done. So I picked her up the other day and did a whole bunch more on her. I got a bunch of more hair done. I got a lot more skin. I did some of this green, this on the bow. I did this part here on her. This brown is actually part of the like deep fuchsia of her bodice. I've done some there. So, yeah, I mean, I still have no idea when this is going to get done, but, I think I'm going to pick it up a lot more frequently and, try to get stitches in. I've just been leaving it here on my, my table here next to my stitchy spot, so that I can like pick her up whenever I feel like putting a strand in. And I think that might be key to getting her done. This is on a hand-dyed fabric that I did myself years ago before I started Oak Crown Studios. I do have a similar fabric coming out soon. Not the same, but kind of similar. I don't think it's on my website yet, but it's called Heather Sky. But we'll get there. I'll let you know when it comes out, because I do get a lot of comments on this fabric. Okay, more starts. I was watching and I was looking for other people's kit parades. If any of you, and I mean like purchased kits, not like I kitted it up myself stuff, but like kits. Doesn't have to be Dimensions. I love like all the brands, like Luca S and Mareshka and Maya and Anchor and Deems, like all the things. I love them. I've got a lot of them. And yeah, so I've been watching other people's kit parades. If you know any really good kit parades, please drop them in the comments below, because I would love to go check out some other really good kit parades. Or small kit parades, doesn't matter. Just, I want to see, because I find I usually see something I've never seen before and I get really excited. So the first one I started was Moonlit Cabin. It's a Dimensions Gold Collection Petite. I don't know, I've had this for several years. It reminds me of our cabin. They actually look pretty similar. Sorry about the little popping noise there from the plastic. Yeah, so anyway, I mean, it's barely a start. Here we go. I got one strand in. So this is 18 count, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so this is 18 count Aida, and I'm stitching full crosses with 3 strands, and I don't love that. But it does end up looking great. So this is just part of the roof line. This is like the top of the roof line of the cabin. Didn't get a lot done. I'm not trying to finish this in any sort of hurry. Just wanted to get it going, because if I don't start it, it's not going to get finished. And eventually, I'd love to hang this up at our cabin. I have finished Gold Petite before. I think I showed it in one of my first videos. My very first videos, I basically showed all my finishes. Like, I just went through the different rooms in my house here and at our cabin and just like showed everything that I had on the walls. I've been thinking lately about whether I should go back and kind of redo some of those earlier videos. I mean, part of me is like, no, why would I redo it? If you want to see it, just go back and watch. But it has been several years. I hit some Flosstube anniversary this summer. It can't be 5. I would say maybe 4 years. It's possible it's 5 years. It's more likely it's 4 years. I started doing Flosstube during COVID in July. The question is just, was it July of 2020 or was it July of 2021? It doesn't seem possible I've been doing this for 5 years, but I might be wrong. Anyway, it's been a while. I do have some more things on my walls, definitely, although I try to show them here when I acquire them. I don't know. Also, let me know. I'm asking so many questions of you guys. I'm sorry if I'm being too high maintenance. Let me know in the comments below if you have opinions about that. If you'd like to see me kind of go through all my finishes. And I would show like the rescues and stuff too. I'm looking around my walls. There's so much stitching in here. There's a lot of stitching just in the room I'm in. Yeah, let me know if you'd like me to do that. The other thing I've been thinking about doing, the other day I was like, I wonder if people want me to go through my Mirabilias again. I did that several years ago, but also there's a lot more Mirabilias since then. Would you want me just to do the newer Mirabilias? So especially as I was getting close to finishing Garden Beauty, I was feeling like old, and I still am feeling like the older Mirabilia vibe. Like, I want to go back through my stash and look at the earlier designs. I'm feeling that vibe pretty heavy right now. So I think that's part of my thinking too, is like, oh, maybe I should go through my whole stash again. And then, oh, maybe I should, like, maybe people would want to see me film that again. If you have thoughts about that, let me drop that, or drop that below for me too, please. Same day, I also started Morning Lake, another Dimensions Gold Collection Petite. I do love getting the like cabin designs. Just reminds me of our cabin. Looks like I didn't even finish a strand on this one. This is, I got the whole piece of fabric. But I got started in the top left corner with half stitches. So I started. And actually the reason, I was on a Zoom, and the reason I switched from, or part of the reason at least, I switched from Moonlit Cabin to Morning Lake is because it was dark out, and so the light wasn't as good, and so stitching on the navy was a little bit more difficult. So I switched to this, which I had also pulled out as an option to start. This is also an 18 count Aida. So, just got a little start in that. Not in any rush. Just wanted to start enjoying it. I also got some progress in on, let me see if the best way is to do this. I've got to have a cover photo in here, right? Oh, there we go. What is this called? Holiday at Seaside from Letty Stitch. So this is a monster project. This is basically like 3 full kits. I think you actually can, or at least at one point could, get them as 3 separate kits where they're split like there and there. And there are 3 separate scenes. This one, when it's done, will be, I think it's like 33 inches wide. If it's done. It's huge, but also it just struck me as a really fun thing to work on over the years. And who knows, maybe one day it will be done. And don't ask me, I've just been feeling Christmas here lately. I don't know what's going on with me. The older I get, the more into Christmas I get. I think we've had just enough of a change in our weather where it's not like steaming hot that I'm just dreaming of, like, it's like, ooh, it's getting a little bit cooler. I'm thinking of Christmas. Yeah, anyway, it's fine. So I got, actually, I probably doubled my stitches in this as well. This is super confetti heavy. I'm, at least in the sky and stuff, I'm not really loving trying to figure out this. I actually like the gridding on this fabric. It's like a, the gridding isn't as stark as like the white and gray gridded fabric. So I like this a little bit better. So this is the top, and that's just some sky, and this goes down into one of the buildings. So normally I'll find an area and like stitch, like if I'm stitching, whatever I'm stitching, I'll like find kind of a blob, and the blob might be kind of confetti-ish, but I can still stitch like lines like right to left, if that makes sense. Well, the sky on this, those blobs are spread out over lots of pages. And I don't want to do the thing, I don't want to end up with the like the page break marks. Like I thought about just doing it page by page, but from listening to Flosstube so many times, right, I've heard, I feel like a million times people saying, especially full coverage stitchers saying that you end up seeing like a page break, and I don't want to end up with that. So I'm trying to figure out, I guess, the best strategy for stitching it. This up here, this color, I actually ended up stitching in vertical rows instead of horizontal. Where I'm stitching one stitch at a time. But in terms of like where to travel to next, it made more sense to my brain. But if any of you have had that kind of conundrum, let me know. Let me know how you solved it, or if you have thoughts on that, because I'd love to hear. Apparently I'm craving time with stitchers because I keep asking you guys to like talk to me down below. Let's see what's the best place to put this. else? I have a few things that have actually been sitting here for a while, waiting for me to show them to you. Not these I've had longer. Sorry, I'm like mixing in some haul here. It's not much. I came across these, I think, during random scrolling on the internet or something. These are from Ginger and Spice. This one's called Victorian Gazebo. Right? The Victorian Gazebo. And this one is Victorian Harbor View. And they're just beautiful ladies in gorgeous dresses and nice scenery and very up my alley. I actually like this one more. But they're both beautiful. And there's another one in the series too. Let's see if I can find a photo. Oh, there's a photo. I don't want to show you chart. There's this one as well, which is called the Silk Parasol, which I'd love to pick up at some point as well. But I was able to get these pretty cheaply on, just for like a few bucks on eBay, to add to my collection. So that was fun. I got, does it have multiples in here? I picked this up. I don't even know how I came across this. It's Baroque Designs by Marie Barber. And this is just very neat. It says, I gently touched her hand. She gave a look that did my soul enslave. That's just beautiful. And again, same thing. Like, it was just like a few bucks on eBay. It wasn't expensive. And then from watching other people's floss tubes, I'm going to have to link her below. I can't even remember her name off the top of my head. There's somebody I started watching recently who did like a Paula Vaughn flip through of a bunch of her stuff. I don't remember who. I'm not as in touch with the floss tube community as I used to be. Just now that I'm working full time, I'm just busy and don't spend nearly as much time watching Flosstube. But some people, and I'll try to link some of this below, did do, I think in July, maybe June, but I think July, a Paula Vaughn start along, I think. And I love Paula Vaughn. I've got a few of hers started. But this floss tuber, and again, I'm so sorry I'm blanking on your name. I will link you below. She did a Paula Vaughn flip through so that we could see like her collection and what she had. And there were some things in there. I think that's where I saw, well, one thing in there in particular that I really wanted that I didn't have. I have a bunch of Paula Vaughn, but I didn't. Oops, sorry, I just tapped the stand, so you might have wiggled. I didn't have this one. So I picked it up. I'm not Christian, so I would do this without the quote, but it's called Inspired by Scripture, Part 2. I wouldn't do the quote, but I would stitch the seam. I think that's beautiful. And then it also has this one, which also I love. I actually think I might like this one better. Mostly because I'm thinking of the quilt. I think I like the quilt better. It's absolutely stunning. So I picked this up. And then this is a book. I got Quilts for All Seasons. So this is one that has been on my radar for a very long time. And I've never purchased because I'm just like, well, I guess this is one where I've just been like, but I have so much. And I do have so much. But I got inspired and I ended up getting it. So I'm just going to flip through really quickly. So there's a pattern with a quilt for each of the months of the year. This one's February. And I'm not positive I'm going to stitch any of these, but I did decide finally I wanted my collection. March, April, and these are pretty readily available. Some I tend to see them because I've been keeping an eye on them for a long time, with a wide variety of prices. Sometimes they come up for, $25, $30. Sometimes somebody drops it in for $100. Yeah, so This one I really love. If I'm going to do one, this would be near the top of the list. I love that particular quilt a lot. And I'm just outside. That was July. I like this one a lot too. I like all her porch designs. This is August. September. For those of you who don't know, I'm a quilter too, so combining the two things I'm totally here for. October. I love the November design. This is just, I love it. It's like clearly fall colors, but like sometimes fall colors can feel like dreary to me, and this somehow manages not to be dreary at all. Like it's still bright and cheerful. And December. So anyway, and the book has all of those in it. So yeah, I decided to finally add that to my collection. Just for the sake of being thorough, I brought this because I did put some stitches in on this. Not very many. It'll get done when it gets done. Sometimes oh, did you see me like flinch? My poor dog. His charts just fell down. That's okay. Sorry, Freya. Sorry. She's laying right next to me. So yeah, this will get done eventually. These are done with number 5 pearl cotton, hand-dyed pearl cotton. Well, some of it's hand-dyed, it's Weeks Dye Works, and some of it is DMC pearl cotton. And in case you don't know, haven't been around here before, I have a thing for these bags. They're like nice, simple, quick stitches that I just really enjoy doing. Speaking of quick stitches, some of you may know, if you've been here for a bit, I don't even have something with a name on it to show you. Yes, I do. I have something right here. I made an order a year or so ago, maybe, from Sajou, which is this French embroidery company. They have just different things, and I love different things. And I ordered this kit for a set of smalls, and the kit was great. It came with fabric. So the smalls that you can make are biscornu. There's a lid to put into a box that I got the box for. Like the box came with a kit. There's a scissor. It's not a scissor fob. It's like to hold your scissors, like a scissor pouch, like a triangular shaped thing. Did I already say needle book? I don't think so. And a needle book. So there's all the materials to make those things. And it also came with the fibers. So everything is done. And this kit basically comes in, well, they're different kits. Like the stitches are different. They're actually different designs. But there's several different colorways. And I'm a blue-green kind of person, so I got blue and green. This is a rayon thread, which I'm going to use, sorry for you, on this first one that I'm stitching, and then I will probably never use again. Rayon, I hate rayon for all kinds of reasons. I don't like working with synthetics typically, which this is. It's also insanely slippery. Rayon's designed to mimic silk. I would rather just pull silk for my stash and use it. So I'm going to finish using it on the box lid, which is what I've started with. And then after that, I'm going to pull, like, it's very pretty and very shiny, but it's just a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. I'm going to switch to a silk. And then this, I would love to get this in every color because they're so stinking cute. These are little cocoons of cotton threads. I know I looked it up, but I don't remember what weight of thread it is. I would say it's similar to like a 12 weight. Like it's similar to stitching with a sulky, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So this is a variegated, like blues and greens. The only place I'm aware of that you can get these is the Sulky, or not Sulky, sorry, the Sajou website. I will link that below. They do have a box that I think is like crazy expensive. that has all of the different, because this comes in like different colorways. Oh my gosh, that's like a luxury purchase. I would love to get all these little cocoons, even just like have them all stacked up on a shelf. I've probably said all of this to you before. I know I've talked about it before. They're just so cute. Anyway, this is my box top. This is the, so it's like all special, mostly specialty stitches. This is the big stitch, or this is the middle. And then the box is round. So I guess I'm about halfway done. So yeah, that's where I got to. And I just, I think I just sat here one afternoon or evening while dinner was in the oven and worked on it. But it's so fun. If you're interested, you should totally look them up. The other colorways I think that are available are something that looks very autumnal that I think is like orange and red. And then the other colorway is purple. I think it's purple and orange, or purple and yellow, or like lavender and yellow. So they put together these different batches of them. And then the patterns are free on their website. You can go to their website and get their patterns. Get the patterns for these for free and use your own materials if you want to. So I will try to remember to link that specifically below as well. If I mess up and don't have the link, please let me know. My link, I usually add the links like an hour or two after the video goes up. So if you open my video the moment it's posted and the links aren't there, just give me a little time. Come back later and the links should be there. If it's been a day, then message me and ask me what's going on and why I haven't done my job properly. All right. I need to do a better job putting, ooh, sorry. Did not mean to flash the chart. I need to do a better job putting things back in the project bag so I don't lose them. So this is one of my oldest whips. This is the one I was hoping to finish, I think, in January when I was going to focus on kits this year. And again, I've been doing a lot of kit stitching percentage-wise of like the stitching I've been doing. I just haven't been doing that much stitching. This is Magic in Motion. I really want to get this done. It's just at that point where like it's been hanging out for so long. It's a regular dimensions kit. It's done all with 3 strands. Some of them are blends. It's one of the first things I ever started. It needs to be done. And I did do some work on it. I just need to do a lot more work on it. It might be hard to see because a lot of the work that I did was like a deep blue. Where was... So I did it up here, and it starts like up here. It's like shading in through here and then down there. And I feel like there was more because it's been a while since I've been here. And I know I had some other stitchy sessions on it since I saw you last. There's threads all over this. But I can't remember what I was focusing on in the earlier stitchy sessions. I did the blue, or was working on the blue just the other day, and got a couple of lengths of flossing on it. Anyway, this is one where I feel like I'm almost done. But then I start stitching and I'm like, what am I'm not almost done. There's still so much left to do. I want to get him done. And off. I mean, he's going to be great. I have, it was a Dimensions Petite, I think. Might not have been a Petite, but I think it was Petite, of a Sorceress. I feel like she's a little bit bigger than like 5x7, but I'm not sure. She's not gold, just like him. But they look really, even though they're different sizes, I feel like they belong together. And so I'd really like to get that done. So also on a recent Zoom, I started this design from DreamWorks. It's DreamWorks? Nope, not DreamWorks. Janlin. I thought it was DreamWorks. Wait, but maybe it's because it's from Nancy Rossi. Isn't she a DreamWorks designer? I might just be making all that up. Just ignore me. This is a Janlin kit. I thought it was a DreamWorks kit, and it's not. But I love it. And again, I've been in a Christmassy mood. So I started this on the white Aida that came with the kit. I'm not usually an Aida stitcher, but I will definitely use the Aida for my kit. And then I went to pick this up again the other day. So that was just like a one evening start. There was very little on there. And I realized all of this is stitched, all of this blue. And I was like, what am I doing? Why would I stitch all of that blue? I'm a fabric dyer. So I'm going to pick I have some ideas in my head. I'm going to pick something out of my stash to stitch this on and restart it. I don't feel bad about that because it was like barely, right? That was barely a start. And I mean, I looked at the chart and was like, oh my God, there's just like all of that plain blue stitching. Like, who wants to do that? And I do like in the pattern, there's like shadowing. There's actually like 2 shades of blue, but I'm just going to ignore the shadowing and just stitch the window. And I think I'm going to love it and it'll be beautiful. So that's going to be a restart. That's a start, but I'm also going to restart it. I have to definitely pick up and get reorganized later. Okay, this one is a tiny start on an enormous piece of fabric. It's probably a fat half. I mean, I don't even know what. I think this is a 36 linen fat half. Might be 40. I don't know. Did I write it? Did I keep the label? I kept the label. Good job planning ahead, Amy. No, it's 35 count lamb's wool linen. Fat half. And I should show you the chart I'm talking about, shouldn't I? There's the cover photo. This is 200, what's it called? 276 words, is that it? 272 words. It's the Gettysburg Address. I am so sorry, Freya. I know I'm getting very annoying. Things are falling on her. It's from Primrose Needleworks, 272 words. I love this design. It's just the Gettysburg Address. And then there's like a little bit of a border and some stuff. Now I changed, I think the main color. I changed the main color, the color of the words. I think there's some places, well, maybe not. I think I might have a little bit of this color, but I changed the like orangey shade to purple because I wanted to. So I'm using, I think that's the only change I made. So I'm using Mulberry, Weeks Dye Works Mulberry for the actual text of the Gettysburg Address. Oh yeah, the orangey shade is part of the border. So I still have the orangey shade in there also, but instead of, so these are the original colors. Instead of also using this for the words, I have many skeins of it here. I'm adding in the mulberry. And I just really like how that's going to look. I think I do. Bear with me while I put this away so I don't lose. Yeah, and in the bottom at green, it just says the address at Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, delivered on November 19th, 1863. I've been wanting to start this for a long time and just now finally got to it. Now it's only 1 day's worth of work. It's barely a start. So that border is just alternating, you know, stitched and not stitched. And then I started, I think, the first letter. So barely a start, although I mean, it comes down really far. Kind of looks like a lot. But I'm going to keep this by my stitchy chair so that I can kind of pick it up whenever the inspiration strikes. It is huge. It's a huge piece, but not very stitch dense at all. And I'm using one strand over to So it's a relatively quick stitch. For me, I'm using the sewing method, so it goes way faster than when I'm doing like a Mirabilia or Teresa Wensler or something. And then the other thing that's gotten attention and needs to get a lot more attention is, I always forget what this is actually called. On Grandmother's Quilt? Yeah, on Grandmother's Quilt. From Mirabilia, this is, or Nora Corbett, this is her old Little Stitches line, which are adorable. She's got, if you haven't seen them, look them up. There's still a lot of them out there. Even like LNSs still have these. And you can find them easily on the secondary market as well. They're just, there's only 5 or 6 of them, I think. And they're all just really lovely, beautiful, like childhood designs. This is my second attempt at a birth sampler of my daughter for my grandmother that won't end up in the trash. I'm not going to retell the story, but that's what's happening here. I want to get this done, if I can, for her for this Christmas, which actually means Thanksgiving, because that's when we meet her to kind of celebrate the holiday. I'm trying not to show the pattern. And I got quite a bit more done on this. A lot of it you can't see because it's white on white. So this is an opalescent Ada. This whole thing came as a kit, and I feel like my mother gave it to me, which is possible. But also I feel like I got it cheap at an LNS. So either one of those things is true, like with all the floss and everything. And I like the opalescent. I think it's beautiful, so I'm just going to use it. So it's white on white, but also that's going to be backstitched. And especially in person, you can tell there's a difference. I definitely wouldn't leave it not backstitched. It needs the backstitching. But I think it's going to look lovely, even though it's the white on white. It's not a very big design, which, you know, since it might end up in the trash, I need to... I don't want to spend too much time on it. The last one was like an enormous Mirabilia that I did. So anyway, this is, I'm working on it, and I left more room at the bottom. I actually think I might have even turned the fabric for this, because I'm going to stitch the design first, and then I'll figure out how I want, and like chart out how to put my daughter's details in there. And then my mother-in-law will have a matching set of, well, matching set. She'll have a birth sampler for each of my children. And that will make her very happy. Which will make me happy. She's a lovely lady. So that'll be lovely. Plans. My primary plan is to finish Princess and the Dragon. I'm sorry I didn't bring it to show you, but I haven't looked at it in a couple of months, but I feel like I thought there were like 30 or so stitches left. A lot of back stitching, although I've already done a lot of the back stitching. I didn't save all of it for the end. And I don't mind back stitching, so it's not like a painful slog. Like, I'll whip through it, it'll be fine. And on Teresa Wensler's, at least this has been my experience, it's obvious where the back stitching goes. It's not like you're, like some of the like Russian designs, like that style and stuff, you're crossing over stitches and stuff with your back stitching, so you really have to pay attention to the chart. With this Teresa Wensler, it's not like that. Like, there's her wings, the dragon's wings have to be back stitched between like each of these color changes, like all the like ribs of her wings. But there's a clear delineation of where those back stitches need to go because of all the fractionals. So you don't even really need to use the chart. Like, I have to look at the chart and see what color to use, and then you just like, it's obvious on the fabric where that back stitching goes, and you just go. Same thing, like sometimes the back stitching is just going around the outside of like the dragon's body. I don't need to be like even looking at the chart for that. I just back stitch around the edge of the body. It's easy peasy. So I need to finish back stitching, and there's a little bit of beading. The floral bouquet she's holding has a few beads in it, and each of the flowers around the border has like 4 or 5 beads in it, I think. Again, kind of easy peasy. So I need to finish that. I'm hoping to do that in the next couple weeks and get it to the framer. And then I'm going to be focusing on my daughter's birth sampler. to see if I can get that done in time to get it to the framer to get back to give to my mother-in-law, because I'm not giving her another piece that isn't already framed. I've said this before, the first one I think ended up, I'm guessing, we don't know, ended up in the trash. I'm guessing it ended up in the trash because she asked us to give it to her unframed and she would take care of framing it. And so I think she just didn't realize, like, she had it with tissue paper, and I think probably just thought it was all tissue paper and threw it in the trash. So this one's going to be in a frame, so there's no way she could accidentally throw it in the trash. And if this one does end up in the trash, I'm never stitching something for her again. And then so I have kind of like a focus, something I'm trying to finish. Trying to finish something does not fill me up in the way just like following my inspiration does. So that's part of the reason why I have so much going on, to be able to just like pick up whatever's calling to me, whatever is kind of filling up my artistic soul in the moment. But those are the projects that'll get the most attention, I think, until you see me next. Because those are important to me to finish. Some of you know I've been working on a stocking for my mother-in-law. I basically have just, that's going to be moved back to 2026. I'll see if I can get that to her next year. I think the burst sampler is more important. And if I don't get it done like in time to give it to her Thanksgiving, then I might just mail it to her for Christmas. It's not a big design. It's stitching up really fast. Okay, so a little bit of retreat news. Let's do some retreat news first for Maggie and I. Now I'm like blanking. Like, I don't even know what to say. So we have this year's Mirabilia retreat is this October. So I'm not sure when I'm going to be back. I'd love to say I'm going to be back before then, but I probably won't be. I'm going to be so busy. Like the 4 to 6 weeks leading up to a retreat especially, I'm just like, I get very paranoid that I don't have enough fabric to sell, that like people are going to be disappointed, and I like just start busting my butt and just focusing really hard on that. Not to mention getting out all of the orders. I do have an average 5-month wait period at this point. That's an average. Some people get really lucky and get their order in 3 or 4 weeks. Some people get their order, you know, in 6 months or even 7 months, depending on what the order is and how much it is, and, you know, how many different pieces and different colors there are and stuff. So that, yeah, that 5-month is an average wait time, just to be clear. But I'm still pumping out those orders as fast as I can. Boxes. So I know people love my mystery boxes. So my next mystery box that will be mailed out is the Dragon's Hoard. That's no longer up for pre-sale. I'm purchasing, dyeing, getting all the things together for that. So it's no longer open for pre-sale. I do have and I'll link these below. I have a Shades of Nature mystery box, and I'm really excited about this one because it's something that I'm passionate about, but you don't see as often. There's a couple dyers out there that occasionally do some natural dyeing, but it's really hard to find. So anyway, this box is all my boxes have 3 fat quarters of mystery fabric around a theme, and then a handful of other stitchy related items that I put in there that are, again, mysteries. I'm not going to tell you ahead of time what those are. The Shades of Nature one is going to be all naturally dyed fabric. So I'm just, and it's not going to be naturally dyed fabric that sorry, somebody's trying to call me. They're not going to be colors that I normally dye. Like, I offer indigo and turmeric dyed fabric on my website already. It's not going to be those. It's going to be different colors, but all naturally dyed. Some people are really into that, and some people don't care. But if you're somebody who's into it, this is going to be amazing. Natural dyes tend to give you colors. I mean, they're a lot brighter than people sometimes think they're going to be. But also, I feel like for people who really like primitives, or who really like historical samplers, or that sort of thing, like, I feel like this is perfect, because this is exactly how things would have been dyed before we had this whole industrial revolution and synthetic dyes, which actually have even taken off in the last 70, 80 years, way more than even you were seeing for most textiles, even in the early 20th century. There's just, anyway, I'm very passionate about all kinds of dyeing, but that includes natural dyeing. So I'm very excited about the Shades of Nature box. And then I also have put up for pre-order on my website, and these are all pre-orders. These ship long from now. I think Dragon's Hoard ships December 1st, or that's the expected ship date. Expected ship date of Shades of Nature, I think, is February 1st, and expected ship date of this last one, which is my Hobbit-themed mystery box, I think expected ship date's March 1st. So, oh my God, I'm going to blank. Oh, Second Breakfast. I called it Second Breakfast. So I'm going to do, this will take years to get them all out, but I'm going to do a series of boxes revolving around different parts of Middle-earth. And so the first one is my favorite. It's for the Hobbits. I am so excited about this one. I think, cozy is the theme for this one. Tea and cookies and curling up in front of a fire with your favorite book and friends and gardens and flowers and all things like cottagey and cozy is very much what this box is going to be about. So I'll link that one below as well in case you're interested. I do have a fabric of the month. I just finished today getting out the last of September's fabric of the month orders. That's going great. So I'll I'll link that below too in case you're interested. I love doing the fabric of the month. I do a lot of colors. I tend to do not a lot that's super dark. I do a lot of like mid-range and light colors. I offer a lot of variety in my fabric of the month. That's kind of when people ask me, that's my like overarching theme, kind of like you never know what you're going to get, but a lot of variety. Some that are more single color fabrics, a lot that have multiple tones. Most of my fabrics have multiple colors going into them to create a like tonal. A lot of my fabrics I would say are more tonal. Like you might have an orangey fabric that has sections that are a little more yellow and sections that are a little more rusty, but overall, a nice soft orangey color, that kind of thing. I probably should have brought some to show you, but I didn't. Maybe next time. Okay, so that's Oak Crown Studios update. I'll think of all the other things I wanted to tell you guys when I'm done. I hope I'll be back before the retreat because I know after the retreat I'm going to be exhausted. It'll be a while before I feel up to filming. Oh, retreats. I told you about this fall's retreat. I didn't tell you about next summer's retreat. I will link this below as well. So we are hosting a chatelaine retreat next summer, next July. And we're doing this for like the full amount, for like the full room. We can hold up to 144 people in our space comfortably. We only keep 6 at a table, and we don't put as many tables in the room as we could. We want to leave enough space for people to move around and be comfortable and actually stitch. And I know a lot of people, if they're driving, bring like their Lowry stands or whatever, and like to have that space to spread out. We want it to be a really enjoyable stitching experience for everybody, so we keep the number a bit smaller. But we still have some spaces open for that retreat. We were full, and then some people who signed up decided not to come, so we have some spaces open. So I'll leave the link for the sign up form below. If you're interested, please go ahead and sign up. We check that frequently, and we'll continue to send out invites as we have spaces available. It's tons of fun. I'll link it below. Deb, the traveling stocking stitcher, she did an amazing video of our brag table at this year's chatelaine retreat, where we only had a third of the number this year. So if you want to see what it's like, what our retreat's like, what the brag table's like, check it out. You do not have to be a chatelaine stitcher to come. Sorry, my dog might make the camera wiggle. You do not have to be a chatelaine stitcher to come to our chatelaine retreat. Just be a stitcher or somebody who appreciates stitching, and show up. It's so much fun. Every year we have people who have never stitched the thing, like the theme, and they have an amazing time. We have people who come and do chair massages for us. We've got a photo booth, an amazing brag table. We do raffles to benefit a local animal shelter. They're a no-kill shelter that also gives like free vet care and stuff to people who need it. And shelters right now across the country, but particularly in Charlotte, actually saw a nationwide article recently focusing on how bad the problem is in Charlotte specifically. They're really overwhelmed with animals being dropped off at shelters right now. So Maggie has adopted animals from the shelter, so we really like to support that with our raffles. We have games, the best games. We have a great team that helps Maggie and I. The games are amazing. And just days of stitching fun and geeking out over something that we all love. And even if you are a chatelaine stitcher, that doesn't mean you need to stitch chatelaine in the room. Like, bring what you want, stitch what you want, enjoy hanging out with your people. That's always the best part. Okay, so enough about that. If you guys have any questions, please let me know, and hopefully I will be back soon before too long. Thanks, guys. Bye.